After leaving Colorado, I headed to South Dakota for my next work assignment, but I still had time for a few more stops. South Dakota is known mostly for Mount Rushmore and the Sturgis Bike Rally, but there's actually a bunch of other cool places here as well. Today, I decided to stop by a decommissioned nuclear missile silo, which is accessible to the public right off Interstate 90. So, I'm here in South Dakota at a decommissioned Minuteman Intercontinental Ballistic Missile site, which was a big deal during the Cold War. During the Cold War, the big thing to worry about was nuclear weapons. We had them, Russia had them, and there's a good reason why nuclear weapons are so scary. It's because you can pack a lot of destructive force in a very small package. The Minuteman ICBM packed a warhead with a yield of 1.2 megatons. That's 80 times greater than the bomb that the USA dropped on Hiroshima, Japan in World War II. If you think that's a lot, consider that there were 150 of these sites across South Dakota and hundreds more across the Midwest. These sites were part of America's second strike strategy. Their purpose was to be able to fire even if the majority of the USA's military capability was knocked out by a first strike by an enemy. In fact, just in case ground control was destroyed, the missile could be fired by a signal from these special military airplanes. These planes were kept airborne 24 hours a day for 30 years during the Cold War as part of Operation Looking Glass. The signal from that plane would have been received by this hardened antenna here at the silo. So you can see behind me the hardened top to the missile silo. Now this was a totally unmanned facility. The launch control facility was actually a few miles down the road, connected to this one by underground cables. When the missile silo received the signal to launch, the roof would open and the missile could be in the air within 60 seconds and then strike practically any target in the world within half an hour. So, final thoughts on this place? It's just amazing to me how much destructive power you can fit into such a small package. This missile is not that big. It could fit on the back of a semi, and in fact, that's how they got it here in the first place. Yet, it could completely destroy a huge city. Also, I'm grateful that the Cold War didn't end in a nuclear holocaust, and I'd like to give a shout out to the National Park Service for actually preserving sites like this so we can learn from our history. If you do decide to stop by, the National Park Service has made it really easy to have a self-guided tour. Simply call the posted number and you'll learn way more than I could ever tell you about this site. If you're liking the channel, hit subscribe and watch out for my next video where I lighten the mood and take a little detour through some sunflower fields here in South Dakota.